Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming along tonight to the third panel discussion of this year's Creative Sydney. This session is called Creative Commercial, and it's about that eternal struggle between the stuff you love and the stuff that pays the bills. If you're exceptionally lucky, the stuff that you love pays the bills, if you can build your career that way. In other cases, in most of our cases, we have to find ways to balance the balance sheet and to balance between the work that is financially rewarding and the stuff that really gets our creative juices flowing as well. So we're speaking to a few people here tonight who have found really inventive ways of walking that high wire. So I'm going to run through and introduce them all really quickly, and then we're going to hear from each of them. But I'd love to hear some questions from all of you. So if you can keep some questions in your mind, we're going to come back to those in about 50 minutes time. So get them ready. So sitting here on my left, we've got Andrew Moffitt from Moffitt.Moffitt. We've got Georgie Swift and Milenka Osen from TMOD. We've got Troy Lam from Hopscotch. And at the end, we've got Jess Cook from Token Imagination. Please give them a round of applause. So we're just going to kick straight off into things with a presentation from Andrew Moffitt.
Okay. Is this on? Testing. There we go. Awesome. Okay. I get to kick things off, which is great, I think. Anyway, thanks for coming tonight, and thanks to Creative Sydney for having me along. My name's Andrew Moffitt, and I am one half of Moffitt.Moffitt. The other half, well, he's sitting on a beach in Turkey, the lucky prick, so that's him there. His name is Mark, but I'm sure I can manage tonight without him, so let's get into it. So when looking at the topic tonight, or the range of topics that we're looking at, it was pretty obvious to me that straight off the bat we're talking about balance, and as Jess has already said, it's all about walking that fine line between creative integrity and also staying alive in this kind of ultra competitive world that we live in. It's about being happy with your work but also managing to put some food on the table. And most people think you kind of have to choose one or the other, but Mark and I have come up with an approach that shapes practically everything we do, and it directly relates to this topic. It's actually what we stand for, and it's summed up in this next slide. So what we try and do, we try and create a place, and that place is Moffitt.Moffitt, where creativity meets commerce. And we strongly believe that commerce and creativity should be one thing. They shouldn't be separated. It's really important for everyone here to understand that creativity drives commerce and commerce drives creativity. They have to actually work together to make all of our lives and, more importantly, our careers sustainable. And the sooner people realise that those two things should be together, then the better off their life is going to be, and probably the better off their business is going to function. So make no mistake, my passion is creativity, and I'd probably do what I do for $10, but the reality is I'd rather get paid 10 million to do it rather than $10. And before everyone starts throwing their chairs at the stage and calling me a sellout, I'm not talking exclusively about money. I'm actually talking about value and the value we have for our work. Because what most people don't realise is that... Am I holding that too close? Or is that... Okay. What most people don't realise is that we can determine the value of our work. It's not really up to our clients. It's actually up to us. And the sooner people start believing in the value of their own work, everyone else will start believing. So when it comes to value, Mark and I talk about different currencies when it comes to value, or different rewards when it comes to value. And when working on personal projects or commissioned work, we kind of judge it against three different measures of value, and conveniently they all start with P, so we call them the 3 Ps. But it's a bit naff, so bear with me. And in no specific order, the first one we always look at is performance. What is the quality of the project going to be? Is there going to be a really interesting creative outcome? You know, or is it a churn and burn scenario? Get it in the door, get it out, get paid, and don't obsess about the quality of the project. Click, click, come on. There we go. The second thing we look at is profit. How much are we going to get paid? You know, is it going to be a profitable job? Are we going to make money out of it? Will we take on the job because we need the money, we have bills to pay? Or alternatively to that, do we have enough jobs in the studio to take on the project because we already do have enough cash flow or work coming in? And then finally, the last measurement of value we look at is personal. And it's the one that's probably neglected the most, but we think it's the most important. And when I say personal, it really comes down to how are we going to feel about this project? You know, will it be meaningful? Will it be purposeful? Is the project going to shape our reputation with clients or peers? Is it going to help someone? Is it going to hurt someone? And in a basic term, we kind of look at we look at it from this angle. Are we going to enjoy it, or is it going to make us miserable? So the reality is that all projects have different levels of value, and some projects, they look like this. You know, they're all about the profit. And sometimes you need these jobs because you just bought a new bike or a pair of shoes and you have to pay the bills. Then some projects look like this, and it's all about the love and the passion for something. And unfortunately, with some project like this, you have to sacrifice a lot of your own personal time to make them work. And that can end up being the right or the wrong decision. And ultimately, we try and make all of our projects look like this because we're aiming for that complete balance, something that's going to sustain us mentally, financially, and emotionally. So personal and commissioned work are judged by the same measures of value. So whether it's a personal project or a work that comes in from a client, we kind of measure it in terms of these different measures of value or principles of value, whatever you want to call them. And the interesting thing is we gave a talk a couple of months ago and we kind of touched on this, and someone came up to me afterwards and said, "You don't really believe all that creativity meets commerce bullshit, do you?" And I said, well, it actually is the basis for our whole business. And the great thing about today is I actually get to prove it.